Hello, a very good evening to our viewers. Welcome to Elite TV. You're watching Open Debate in English. I'm Amrita, your host for this crucial debate on the topic, the indomitable spirit of MEIRA PAIBIS. The world knows the MEIRA PAIBIS of Manipur. They are specific to and the Meitei community, and they are unique. They are a manifestation of universal motherhood that is present in every female, including the animal kingdom. The spirit of the MEIRA PAIBIS in action is the demonstration of the potential of the soft feminine power. It is recorded that the name MEIRA PAIBIS came about in the year 1977, but the spirit has been there since long. The same spirit manifested in the first Nupilan of 1904 and again in 1939 during the second Nupilan. In both the cases, the women folk of Manipur won. They got all their demands on the spot, then and there itself. During this 5-month-old Meitei Kuki conflict, we have witnessed that the MEIRA PAIBIS have emerged as the main leading force. Even the Union Home Minister is reported to have remarked, "Control your women folk so that I can bring peace in Manipur." His remark carries a negative connotation, but it is his admission that the MEIRA PAIBIS are a force to be reckoned with. The Union Home Minister should introspect on why the Meitei women folk restrict the movement of troops in the valley. The reason is this, that the troops here lack transparency in their intention and motive, besides a tissue of allegations of them siding with the Kukis. The Meitei women folk stands for justice, professionalism of the security forces. Our panel of experts are here to discuss on this topic. Let's extend a warm welcome to our 3 panelists for tonight. Our first panelist for tonight is Ms. Kavita Hijam, labor activist and digital content creator for RK Productions. Welcome to Open Debate, Kavita.
Thank you for having me here.
Our next panelist for tonight is Ms. Preeti Yumnam, rising young singer and lyricist. Welcome to Open Debate, Preeti.
Thank you.
And our third panelist for tonight is none other than Mr. Rinku Khumukcham, esteemed senior journalist and editor of Imphal Times. Welcome to Open Debate, Mr. Rinku.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's start with today's program right away. My first question I'll be asking the questions to the ladies first, and then I'll be coming to from the screen on the left, from the right of the screen to the left of the screen. My first question is to Ms. Kavita. It is that the spirit that fuels MEIRA PAIBIS is not recent at all. It's been woven into our society for a long time. So according to you, what, where, and when in our history and society gave birth to this spirit? Ms. Kavita.
Thank you, Amrita. Roughly translated as the torchbearers, MEIRA PAIBIS is the oldest known and the largest grassroots level political institution in Manipur. To understand MEIRA PAIBIS, we need to dig into the magnificent role of women in Meitei culture. Meiteis were good hunters and warriors in history. The boundary of Manipur, then known as Mekle, included the whole of Kachar in the west side, San Province in the northeast. It included the Kavo Valley, and far to the Arakan, the borderland. To maintain and safeguard that extent of kingdom, with the minimal population of that time, our men had to stay away from home for a very long period of time, and hence the economical, social, and the grassroots political responsibility was left with our women folk. This gave a unique culture to the Meitei society, which in turn might have initiated the culture of our MEIRA PAIBIS. First, we have the Nupi Kaitel, exclusively for women, and today it is also world renowned, and no other place in the world, whole world can boast of that. To understand this, we need to understand that Manipur was a nation.
To interrupt you there just once, you just mentioned that men were mostly away from homes and villages,
yes,
and the women had to take over the responsibility of domestic matters, even the responsibilities that are natural to men. By this, are you suggesting that this is a reason that gave rise to the MEIRA PAIBIS? Because we also see this kind of phenomenon in other tribal communities, but Meitei community is the only one that has produced the MEIRA PAIBIS. So what are your thoughts?
Amrita, Manipur was a nation and not a mere region that was administered or managed by some other power or authority. Our Nupi Kaitel I was talking about, besides being a center for business and commerce, it has many other significant roles as well. Nupi Kaitel was and still is an informal assembly attended by women from far and wide, and they exchange informations and wisdom and discuss all vital issues of the society from every nook and corner, resulting to a grassroots democracy. That's what we could say. Apart from just providing for her family, they are playing a very big, important and vital role. Naturally, we women are creators. We birth, we nurture life, and for our children, even in the animal kingdom, we can see that we are protectors, natural protectors. This very instinct is strongly built up in Meitei women, and wherein under the name of MEIRA PAIBIS, our mothers started community policing, started drives against drugs and other antisocial elements to save us. MEIRA PAIBIS are our unsung heroes. They are our unpaid savior and protector. In real sense, they reflect the real essence of motherhood. This very instinct of motherhood composed the spirit of MEIRA PAIBIS, I would say. Sorry. They are the epitome of universal motherhood, and we should regard them and respect MEIRA PAIBIS not as a social movement, but also as our valiant guardians, I would say. Okay. The glimpse of the spirit could be seen in the Gulab Gang, and in 2020, the women of Shahin Bagh, they made headlines, and so the world is learning. And as an Indian myself, where Devi Shakti is being worshipped, I'm very much proud of our MEIRA PAIBIS, and we salute their selfless sacrifice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your very insightful perspective on this matter, on the origin that you just put. So I would like to come to Ms. Preeti now. That Kavita just said that the existence of the Nupi Kaitel and the absence of men from homes and villages might have given rise to MEIRA PAIBIS. So would you like to add any more causes that is there in our history that might have contributed to this, Preeti?
Since the beginning of time, the courage of Meitei women are venerated immensely.
Yes.
Women has always been there in decision making, in diplomacy, in warfare, and in the advancement of the society, in the economy. Just not other than being just a homemaker.
Yes.
In those days, women are a natural diplomat. In order to maintain peace and harmony in their extended families, they have to train themselves to be a diplomatic. They have to train themselves to be diplomatic. For instance, Imalaimil Sidabi, she was the catalyst for Ibu Taupak Hangba to ascend the throne, and it is said and sung that the goddess Panthoibi, when her hair is tied in the backwards, then she answers when we call her as Ima, and if her hair is tied in the front, then she answers when we call her as Father.
Okay.
Such kind of spirit is embedded in our soul and spirit.
Yes.
We can also remember Laima Linthoingambi. She was very brave. She saved Manipur from a revolt in absence of her husband, the king, who went to war. Yes. With her presence of mind and her bravery. Meitei women have a long history of outstanding gallantry.
Yes.
Our society, despite being patriarchal, they treat women with utmost respect. The value system of our society puts women in a very respectable space by calling them Ima or mother.
Okay.
May they be young or aged. When a woman is addressed as Ima or as mother, the instinct of nurturing and protecting and caring for her children is naturally in vogue. We can also mention Ima Kaitel if we talk about the daring spirit of MEIRA PAIBIS or Meitei women. As a follow-up of Laluk Kaba, which was a forced labor system, the male sections of the society, the men of each family, they have to leave to distant lands for work, or they have to serve in the army. In those times, the women of each family, they have to support their own homes.
Right.
So they started cultivation, they started farming, they started weaving, handicrafts and all. They started to do a lot of things, and they begin to sell their produce, their products in massive markets.
Yes.
These massive markets, later on, they became organized and turned into Nupi Kaithel or Ima Kaithel at around 16th century. For the prosperity of trade and commerce, for the profit of their business, our Imas in Ima Kaithel also prays to a goddess, Kaithel Ayambi, which also shows that women has a place in every field from the then time of Maihoron. This might have created an empowered mindset among the women, and I believe that these cases might have been the fuel to the fire of fearless Numas of our Imas.
Okay, the fearless Numas. One question just came to mind when you mentioned in Nupi Kaithel in the deity that there is a male deity and a female deity, that is the Kaithel Lairamba and Lairambi. They are both worshipped till date. And those of us who go to the Kaithel, we seem to give more importance to the female Lairambi. Like, for instance, like in the case of price bargaining, we say that the goddess will be offended, don't do it. And it looks like that male deity it seems to be ignored. Do you think it's because of reverse gender inequality, or is it because the market is dominated mostly by women vendors? So what do you take on this?
Dear Amrita, I believe we live in a patriarchal society. Okay. My family is run by my father-in-law, but whatever issues I have, I go to my mother-in-law. Same thing happens in my maiden home. We feel a lot safer and closer to our mother and mother figures, and if we need or want anything, then we approach our mother figures. I think that's what's happening when we pray to Kaithel Ayambi. Also maybe because women are better listeners. Okay. We also believe that the Lairambi will hear our prayers more.
Okay, it's interesting to note that. Okay, thank you for your insights, Ms. Preeti. I'll be coming
it's
to...
Not like,
okay,
it's not like we don't, it's not like we ignore the male sections of the society. Okay. For so long, we have been talking about women empowerment, this and that. But Manipur, despite being a patriarchal society, I believe that women are held in a very respectable space, like I mentioned before.
Yes.
And we also are scared of the words of our mother, because there's also a saying in Manipuri, or
yes.
We can also remember, spare the rod, spoil the child. These kind of sayings are administered mostly by our mother.
Right.
So obviously we have to, we usually listen to our mother more, not just because of their fine nurturing and impeccable love, but also because sometimes, we are scared of our mother, I would like to say that.
The feminine spirit, so to speak. Okay, thank you for your inputs now. I'll be coming to Mr. Rinku regarding this topic, that the MEIRA PAIBIS have contributed immensely to the general health of our society. They have done much more in fighting widespread alcoholism, drug abuse than even the state government. They prevented a possible famine in 1939, if you remember. Their activities in moral policing is commendable. Their timely intervention in local disputes and family violence is also a great contribution. But and they're respected, and their diktat is binding in many cases. If our MEIRA PAIBIS expand their horizon of activities to areas such as war against corruption or malpractices in elections, they could transform our state for the better. What are your opinions regarding this?
Interesting. MEIRA PAIBIS later comes in the late 70s in this form. The so-called MEIRA PAIBIS, which we see now, is a transformation of the women's folk of the British parents, what we are seeing today. They are taking a chief role in political economy and also in the societal change. They have been taking a lot of role, as both panelists have mentioned. And God had mentioned a lot about how the MEIRA PAIBIS comes into an effective force in the society of Manipur, where the society itself is a patriarchal in nature. When it is a patriarchal in nature, the significant role that are being played by the MEIRA PAIBIS cannot be forgotten, cannot be left out of the history of our Manipur. See, if one remember, you might be remembering the historic event which is famous all over the world, the first Nupilal and second Nupilal. You might be knowing that. It was during the British time that in 1904 there was a women uprising, which we still now observe and remember it as a Nupilal, first Nupilal war. And that is a women's war. It is an uprising during the then ruling regime. There is a colonial regime is partly, has been ruling our that Israel nation. So it was a great uprising against the establishment. Before that also, if one recount, if one remember, the people of this Manipur has been, having a great respect for women folk. As already they have mentioned that, goddess is the thing that we have been praying. We have been, our deities are mostly goddess. And if you want to recall that, we have been told that Fawebi, a deity, an indigenous deity, is the first goddess who had started cultivation work here in Manipur. It was the first settlement, idea of settlement that the goddess had started. And still, we the people of the state has been, offering prayer to this deity. That means it is a goddess. If we go on the mythological term, then it is all right that we have been having a good respect and good prayer, and we are giving offering as a god, that is Hawaii. But if you go on the historical perspective, then who knows? Everyone has been telling that Hawaii is a princess from the Southeast Asia, and she was sent here. By his father along with the team, and then maybe she reached here and started the cultivation work. So it may be Pawebi, maybe the first lady to have started to teach the people out here about how the cultivation will work and how settlement will work. These are the things that we have been hearing, and we have been discussing a lot in certain forums. Okay, leaving aside those things, I'm reminding this because I would like to put up things that how important are these women folk in the society of Manipur. Right. If you go to the history, some of the history books, or say for example some of the writings of the first Prime Minister of India, that is the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. If you go on to the letter to his daughter Indira Gandhi, you might be thinking how the civilization come, how the prehistoric women, and how this civilization come up, and how the men goes out for hunting, and how the women stay at home taking care of their children, looking after foods and everything. These are the things that we have been teaching and we have learned. These are true. These are, I think, they are factual reality in those things. Yeah. So when this thing comes up in most of the society across the globe, women has been playing a tremendous role in the family. Maybe it's a patriarchal or matriarchal family, it doesn't matter. But wherever we go, there has been, it's a woman only that has been taking important role in their home, looking after the children, looking after the civilization. When their husbands or when the male counterpart have gone off for fetching any of the essential commodities that is required in their family. So, in case of this, when it comes to the MEIRA PAIBIS, it was not actually MEIRA PAIBIS whom we now know as. Yes. It was earlier a woman folk of Manipur who has been playing important role in both economy, social, and political. Yes. So at the time of Nupilal, the first Nupilal, it was MEIRA PAIBIS. It was a woman folk that abroad, because the male folk has been already captured by the Danish for taking as labor. Yeah. So then again in 1939 comes the second Nupila.
Yes.
So when we look at the Nupila, it was a socio-political problem which is damn related with the economic condition of the state. So in the three aspects, that is, which is a very important component of a civilized nation, the women folk had already started playing role, even though there may be some male leader who want to, who organize it all, who led this women folk, come up on the public sphere. There may be some factor, but still then the world recognized that it is the women folk who have come up with an idea of saving the motherland, both politically, socially, and then economically. So it is the beginning of the, in Manipuri society, it is women folk who started a movement, a resistance movement. These are the women. Come to the 1970s. It has been, people of the Manipur, most of the scholars have the opinion that the MEIRA PAIBIS was formed in the year 1978. Yes. Maybe earlier than that, there may be some groups of women who have been participating in many of the political movement here, or social movement, or economic movement. But still then, a recognition which established MEIRA PAIBIS group come up since 1978, it has been told. And there has been a statue statue of MEIRA PAIBIS, at Maibam Leka in Singjamay. This was, people accepted this is the first MEIRA PAIBIS organization, well-organized MEIRA PAIBIS organization. That was 1978, and almost all the people of Manipur knows what happened during those 1978. It was, it was a time when the Indian Army, the Indian government imposed the Armed Forces Special Power Act in the state of Manipur. That is in the Hill District. And then later, it was that time that it was extended to all of the state of Manipur. And this MEIRA PAIBIS first come up, and it was also the time when there was a drug war, drug domination here in the state of Manipur. People all across the state, particularly those youths, has been indulged in drug using and this and then, and into alcohol. These are the problem faced by the state. Mm-hmm. This is a societal problem, and everyone knows that because of this, the society is going to be get down, and society is not going to go up. These are the perceptions that those people think. And the male folk, even though they have the idea, but they don't have that guts to come up and fight against those intoxicants, which is disturbing all the state, all the people of all the youths, particularly of those times. Mm-hmm. So it was the women folk who come up with the idea that it is the need of the hour, the need of that hour is that we have to fight against intoxicant. Mm-hmm. We have to fight against drugs. So these are the ideas that the MEIRA PAIBIS was first from. It comes up. Mm-hmm. And later, after the imposition of the Armed Forces Special Power Act here in the state of Manipur, there has been a lot of unwanted things happen. People were arrested, and then people were involuntarily disappeared. There were many cases of those things. So the MEIRA PAIBIS, by that time it was a MEIRA PAIBIS. People popularly known this organization as MEIRA PAIBIS, even though they don't have a real leader. In every locality, there were women folk gather, and then women folk spend sleepless night holding a torch on their hand. To guard their children, to guard their, husband or father or mother. Every male counterpart were attacked by the Armed Forces, under the Armed Forces Special Power Act, as well as they were victims of the drugs and then alcohol, so and so. So the MEIRA PAIBIS had a hard time fighting the drugs and the alcohol, as well as the human rights violation committed by the security forces under the shadow of the Armed Forces Special Power Act. Those are the things. So the MEIRA PAIBIS started taking this matter as a very serious one, because they consider that without saving the male folk, how the society is going to save. These are the things that the MEIRA PAIBIS have been thinking for a long time, have, you know, they have a perception that when their children died, then how Manipuri society will exist. These are the things. So it start from that, and you know, in the Manipur's women folk are unique. Why unique? Because you know, it was a woman, you know, who is a sole bread earner of their houses, respective houses.
Yes.
They went to the market, sell their goods. Maybe their husband, you know, may have given them. It was a product of their, you know, family or so and so. They come up to the market and sell goods. You know, the vegetables, their day-to-day use. These are the things that they brought up to the market and sell. And later, what happened is that they established a separate market for only women folk.
Yes.
You know, still the world is you know, coming here. Many of the tourists from across the world come here. You know, they never return without visiting the Ima market. This Ima market is a symbol of the women's, you know, indomitable spirit, what you call in the these things. So they started this. They have, you know, they don't allow any of the male folk to enter the market. Right. So it is not that they don't allow any of the male folk into the market, but it is actually that their domination and the trust of the people of this, even the male folk, their husband also trust these people, the women folk. They started, you know, having establish a market of their own, that is a women folk. So when it comes to the economy of the state, you know, Manipur's economy was mainly depend on the market. Every society's the economy is depend on the market. So those days, Manipur's economy was mainly, you know, vital role was played by the women folk because of the market. Yes. So we first consider that we first thought that the economy portion of the state or economic portion of the people of the state are being, you know, are in the hand of the women folk, and they are playing a very tremendous role in developing the economy of society. But as time goes on, you know, political issues, you know, sometimes hamper the development of a society. Political issues sometimes hamper the educational sector of a society, the administrative sector, so and so. The women folks in the market, they started, you know, thinking that they started discussing about this matter, and they finally come up with the idea that without the presence of the women folk, maybe you know, particularly the Ima market, that is the Kwaraman Kaitel area, because it is a place where women folk from every area, that is maybe from the hill area also, they come and they sit in other place. You know, women from every section of the every area of the state came there and gathered there, and they started discussing, and then finally they have started indulging. They have started going, you know, engaging in this political stuff also.
Right, Mr. Rinku, you said that the MEIRA PAIBIS was established in the 1979, but again we see that in true history in 1904 and 1939, the first and the second Appeal. I think the spirit of MEIRA PAIBIS was equally at play at that time.
No, that's what I'm talking. Yes. MEIRA PAIBIS is a word coined during the late 70s. Okay. Earlier, the women folk has been playing tremendous role in the societal sense in any sphere. Okay, but still then, the word MEIRA PAIBIS was not used at the time. At that time was a women folk, and the women folk, it was a Nupilal. We call it Nupilal. We don't call it MEIRA PAIBIS. Yes, yes. So both the 1904 women folks movement and the 1939 women folk movement, at that time too we don't coin the word MEIRA PAIBIS, because MEIRA PAIBIS is a new term which comes in the post-independence. Post-independence means there were many trouble, there are many issues, you know, hunting the state. Issues hunting the state means late 70s, there were lots of intoxicants, drugs problem, the alcohol problem. Those are there. Those are the problems which have been disturbing the normalcy or the harmony of the family. And if a family member has been, if a family has been disturbed, then the, you know, if if in a locality, if suppose say 10 houses are there and then 5 of the family has been, severely disturbed by the use of alcohol and drugs in the family, then that is a big problem to the society.
Right.
So the new phase of the women folk come up, and it comes up in the form of MEIRA PAIBIS, because they have to stay in the night time. So for staying in the night time, there must be some kind of light, and they use a traditional light. Sometimes you might be hearing, I don't know what you call it, podon, they used to use it in those days. So this torch bearer women started gathering, organizing at those days. That is the late 70s, around 1978, 79.
Right,
and,
right. So to interrupt you there again, that we were discussing about the origin and how the MEIRA PAIBIS came into play, and then initially they were fighting the social evils, and then eventually post-independence that it has slowly turned into the participation in political issues. So on that note, I would like to come to Ms. Kavita, that until very recently the MEIRA PAIBIS in large numbers, they were keeping vigil on all major roads until midnight on a regular basis, especially during this 5-month-long Kuki-Meitei conflict. That was done for almost 4 months, we have all known that. Many of them carried heavy sticks, seemingly even ready to combat. I noticed it was not done on rotation basis, but compulsory for each and every household. Such unity is not usually seen among the male folk. They appear only after the alarm is sounded and by ringing the polls. Why have the men entrusted this tiresome sentry duty entirely on the women folk? Why didn't the men relieve the women of this task at least for a few days to give the women some rest? Is it because women are more tenacious than men? What do you think, Ms. Kavita?
Number one, no one ever entrusted the said sentry duty to our MEIRA PAIBIS. Number two, yes, women are tenacious, but in a positive way when it comes to the people around her, her people, and their basic interests. Right now, the basic interest which has been harmed is the territorial integrity of Manipur.
Yes.
And the biggest threat is the influx of trained terror mercenary with sophisticated weapons. Today, each and every living being in Manipur are trying to fight against this terrorism, against those terrorists, with whatever might they have. Intellectuals are enlightening these stakeholders, and the media persons are highlighting the present updated news about the crisis, and the civil society organizations are trying to build up a bridge between communities. And again, our men and grown-up boys are safeguarding their villages with the very minimals what they have got. However, in recent months, there have been reports of human rights violation or what seems like an unfair or biased action by the Central Armed Forces. And in the past, we have seen many instances which justifies the mistrust of our people on them. Adding to Ozarinku's point, be it the 1987 torture of Naga boys in front of their own mothers in Oinam village by Assam Rifles, or the shooting death of 10 civilians by a team of AR, or the abduction, torture and killing of a young boy called Sanamacha, or the infamous Manorama rape and killing case of 2004. Again by the Assam Rifle, is still very glaring and fresh in every mind of Meitei mothers, I would say. The very fact that some poppy plantation, again, the poppy plantation are cited with the poppy plantation site are visibly touching the fence of some Assam Rifle camps, as shown on social media, is what I have seen. This could support the allegation that the Assam Rifles are indifferent to the illegal poppy plantation in Manipur. And again, the same Assam Rifle is responsible for the Indo-Myanmar border for the last 4 decades, approximately. Still, the influx of the illegal Myanmaris as a cheap labor force or as international terror mercenaries are on high rise still. This attribution could be of the many causes, which is building up the mistrust of our people on the Assam Rifles. And again, the recent cases wherein the Rapid Action Forces were seen vandalizing the private properties, vehicles, and windows of personals, private properties, I would say, belonging to the Meiteis. And then again, team of 3 Rapid Action Force allegedly burning down a shop. And the recent case, the most recent case, wherein the Rapid Action Forces were using the most condemnable pellet gun on our uniformed students. So this all is building up, adding on the grievances against the paramilitary and central police forces, I would say. We might need to dedicate a full episode on this topic. So Amrita, coming back to your question, yes, our mother are following their maternal instinct to safeguard Indians against the self-centric forces with vested interests.
That was a very good point, that the MEIRA Paibis are doing the sentry duty on their own account to safeguard the interests of the Meiteis and also to fight the grave injustices being meted out against the Meitei in this current conflict. Now I'll be moving on to Ms. Preeti, and we'll focus. Let's shift the focus to sports for a moment. That happened even in the recent in the Asian Games recently in Guangzhou. That in the world of sports, that Meitei girls and women are doing very well. It's exceptionally well. In fact, they have been doing better than the boys. There is something extraordinary in our girls. Would you agree that it is because the spirit of MEIRA Paibis is inherent in our girls also?
Being a woman, I'm very proud that our sportswomen are doing very well. They're bringing laurels for the country and for the state. Most of the sports women are not from rich families, or they don't have a solid background. So this is an indication that they are succeeding with their hard work and dedication.
Yes.
In the entire country, girl child are suppressed, and most Indian families give more preference to their sons. In case of Manipuri girls, parents encourage them in the same manner as boys. We can look at sati system also. It does not happen in Manipur, and we can also see that in some parts of in the olden days, parts of France, England, in Western countries, in European countries, women indulging in witchcraft, which they believe to be witchcraft, were burned, were killed, were persecuted in very gruesome manner. But here in our Manipur, we keep women at a very respectable space. Those people dealing in these kinds of things, we refer to them as Imamaibis, and we even worship them like gods.
Right.
So women, yes, women, our society treats women very importantly. I think this is also a major factor that we women can flourish. But coming to that sports part, I don't believe that women are doing better than boys or males. Because see, it's not about competition. The area or the field they are in, it defines on their success also. But as for male, regardless if they're married or not, it does not affect their career, from what I believe. And if it's a male, then the society also, they are not scared to invest on them, maybe the parents, maybe relatives, maybe anyone. But when it comes to women, we have many strings pulling us back. So those women who are coming up, who are rising to this kind of level, I would like to praise them a lot. I am very happy for them, and I am very proud of them. But this is not a competition.
Okay, very good point there. This is not a competition, and even this shows that there is genuine equality in our society inherently. So I'll be coming. I would like to know from Mr. Rinku that that lawlessness is increasing here in Manipur day by day. Yesterday, a group of armed miscreants tried to kidnap a man over a Facebook post. Shots were fired and 5 local persons, including a woman, was injured. Nowadays, politically powerful people are keeping their own armed gangs or private armies. In such matter, the people don't have confidence in the state police. Won't it be good for the state if our MEIRA PAIBIS draw up a well-thought-out plan and act accordingly to eradicate the concept that might is always right mentality from the minds of the rich and powerful? If this trend is not eradicated, our society even may go to the ditches. What are your thoughts on this matter?
Look, here we already know, everyone in the state know, because of the media, that yesterday evening a group of persons, armed miscreant, come at a locality near this Tidim road. It's called Kwarakpumlika, I just forget, maybe wrong. But here, near Dovi Masud later.
Yes.
So what actually happened there is that a group of persons came there asking for a boy, and MEIRA PAIBIS and a club member of the area gathered, and then they try to prevent any sort of unwanted incidents or any sort of violence there occur. So what is very unfortunate or what is very alarming is that a group of persons, instead of following the request of the local MEIRA PAIBIS or the club members, what actually happened is that they have a sophisticated weapon and then they started firing toward them, injuring 5 of them. They were all hospitalized. 2 of them are in critical position. And in response, in the follow-up of that incident, the people of the area had a meeting, and in the former JSC complained to the government authority and demanded for the arrest of the culprit involved. And moreover that, some groups of people, particularly the youth, they today went to the house of the person involved there, whom they suspect that is the man involved there. These people, these youth, they want an apology or they want a clarification from the person involved, whom they suspected. So these are the things happen. And this is only a piece of example here. Right. Some days back what happened here in the state of Manipur, in Imphal East there's a place called Lyricist that is close to the, to any of the police outposts, established. So what happened is that in a house located there in this Lyricist, 3 armed personnel, those also heavily, sophisticated. Those are AK-47 according to the person, according to the family members. They came and they looted 4 lakhs, around 4 lakhs rupees from his house. Mm. And later, after that also what happened, we have been hearing a lot of things that we are not supposed to in this hard time. Right. We are fighting a war, we are in conflict. And then everyone is looking for a solution. Everyone is, crying hard to restore peace and harmony in the region. And some seems to have forgotten completely that we are at war. And then these people, what happened, they enjoy, they do whatever that the people of this, of our state will not like. These are things that happen. So, the law and order condition, in crisis time, there should be some, the law and order condition. It will be hard for every administration or setup to control it. But still then, what is very unfortunate is that we don't see any initiative or any hard try from those authorities to to restore this peace and harmony in the region. We don't see any of such things. So the other question I would like to discuss more is that the role taken by the MEIRA PAIBIS or the women folk of the state, now the youth, particularly the ladies, the girl, the school girl, the girl, their courage, they come up with a spirit that like those what had happened in 1904 and 1939. Those also those are the women folk who come up for the protection of this motherland. And this time, earlier we have seen many human rights violations, as Kavita has mentioned, that there will be mass raping, the violation of human rights, killing of a lady after raping her, a lot of rape. There are a lot of uncountable number of incidents happen in the state of Manipur which violates the rights of the women, who don't have a respect for the modesty of women. Lot of things happen in the state of Manipur. So every time it was the women folk as well as the civil society organization and the human rights activists that have been voicing against such kind of human rights violation. Well and true, well and good, and it happens and continue. And this time, what happened? That what I see in women is that not only the women folk who are a little bit elderly. Today, the student, those below 15 years old, even girls or below 15, girls in their teens, come out in the street and protest against this kind of inhuman crime committed during this violence. These are things. And about the kind of gender equality here in the state of Manipur, even though it is the woman who has been taking lead role in the political, economy and societal matter, the woman has been sometimes, they have been always suppressed or put down. No parents is happy when they have a girl child.
Yes.
Interestingly, when it is the woman which promulgate the culture of the state, that is, when it gets marriage ceremony, it is a woman who will be with fashionable clothes, the traditional attires that will go, and then it will be the woman who will make everything beauty. Do you know that we have a tradition that we carry this something, the first lady who had to go lead this
the marriage procession,
marriage ceremony.
Yes.
So what happened is that that lady should be the lady who have a boy child, right?
First boy child.
So there are a lot of discriminatory attitude. What we see in our society, no daughter are seen cremating their father or mother. They will always wait for some male. If suppose the parents don't have a boy child, then those people will say wait for a male person who is close relative of this. Then he will be the person who will cremate all these things. But there has been changes sometime these days. But still, then girls are not very in high position. There are a lot of discrimination happening in the state. Saying so, we also know that it is the women folk and girls folk who has been promoting our culture, safeguarding our culture, and safeguarding our this economy, societal reforms. These are also being done by the women folk. So there are things that we in this Manipur society need to understand is that let me put here an event that I have personally went there. In Bisnupur district, there was an attack by the armed Kuki militant to a village. Maybe there was an information for that. They got an information that some armed Kuki militant are up in the hill and they are supposed to. They have been preparing to strike back to the village. So what happened is that I don't see any male counterpart there. I see only thousands of women gathering there in the foothills, trying to prevent those armed militants from coming down. They don't have guns. They have no weapon. Those are bare hand ladies with their with some sticks or with some edible things, and they all make a barricade to protect the Meitei village. So what I mean is that the courage of the women has been growing up these days. Maybe it's inspiration of 1904 or 1939 women's war, or the uprising of the MEIRA PAIBIS in the late 80s or late 90s, whom they fight the heavily armed Indian forces against from committing any kind of heinous crime. Maybe it's rape. There were cases of rape committed by the armed forces. We all know that, and then these are the things that we have been hearing now also. In these hard times, the women are playing a good role. But it is the one thing that we have to study and we have to think about is that the women, maybe MEIRA PAIBIS or women folk, and now another group of women folk. That is, those days it was the middle-aged women who have been doing these things. But these days, the teenagers have started joining this. And then these teenagers, they are, they are hot blood, people. So
Yes.
there should be someone who have to guide them in the proper way.
Yes.
So that we go in the right stream, and then we go for the nation's destiny. Nations, when I say nations, it is a nation, Israel nation, so now become a part of India. Becoming a part of India it doesn't mean that we had forgotten our nation's structure. We have forgotten our history of how our nation was built. The kind of idea we have, experienced from a long time, from the day, forget about the earlier period, from the day we have merged our states to the Indian Union, the series of history need to be taught to our younger generation who will replace us or replace our leaders in the coming days.
Okay, so Mr. Rinku, since you mentioned the students, even the younger students taking part in protests and coming to the streets, even facing a lot of brutality from the forces. Regarding the cases of the Linthoingambi and Hemanjin cases, we have recently heard from the news that the CBI have arrested even 5 people that was involved in the case of in the murder of Linthoingambi and Hemanjin. But still, the bodies have not still been found. So, what do you think the reason behind this could be?
Well, in conflict, this kind of things happen, and in the aftermath of the conflict, it is a duty of the authority to investigate about this matter. This conflict has been trying to portray as a political conflict. So, some of the authority will definitely try to end this process using the political means. So what we have to see is that, what we have to know is that, even though the crisis is end, or due to any means it has been brought to in some way, in a kind of short-term measures solution or not.
Okay.
The cases that has been involved during the crisis will not die; it will remain. Mm-hmm. The cases about Hamjit and then Linthoingambi, how they were killed, how they were. I don't know whether they were killed or not, but there are reports that there are people saying that they have been killed, and the CBI arresting many of the people, even one from Pune. One has been arrested from Pune, and then finally we are seeing some development. It is not about the Linthoingambi and Hamjit. What about the 23 people who have been missing till now?
Yes.
There are 23 people officially missing. There may be more. There may be more. And what I am a little bit shocked in hearing is that the CBI has taken up only cases which are related with something like that happens in here in Imphal and not there in the Chursampur district. These are things that I'm hearing.
Right.
I have some facts of the details of the cases that they haven't taken up, except in 1 or 2 cases. And the case about this one journalist and one of his friend gone missing since June 6 or July 6. These cases, everyone knows that they have gone to a place where the Koki have been dominated, and along with their car, and their car is not still, we cannot trace this car till now. And the government is in no position to tell where are the bodies of those 2. And there are other, 22 other people also who have been still missing. There are many cases.
Okay.
So these cases, okay. they are, the CBI is not taking up these cases. That is what shocked me. But still then, there are reports, there are FIR in the police station. Okay. Once an FIR has been launched, these cases will keep going on.
Okay, I'll be coming back to you again, Mr. Rinku. So I will be now asking to Mr. Kavita that one question that came to mind. You have earlier mentioned that to Ms. Kavita that the Nupi Kaithals, also known as Sima markets, are the nerve centers of women empowerment in Manipur. Is there any other factor or event in our history that might have contributed to making this the indomitable spirit of MEIRA PAIBIS?
Yes. The rich history of Meiteis created Imagaitel, which in turn established the institution of MEIRA PAIBIS, very much late in 1977. The very establishment aimed at redressing the human rights violation committed by the paramilitary and armed forces, apart from saving us from antisocial elements. It is the universal truth that whenever a conflict happens, it is always and always the women who are the first victims, and so women are very sensitive. being adopted in an unconventional and maverick society, our women have always been active participants in all spheres. Hence, the high regard and significance of women in Meitei society is self-explanatory. This could be understood from the written records of 33 AD, wherein Pacha Wilsang or the Pacha court existed, which was a female-only court. And it was a time when Emperor Nongdalayan Pakhangba ruled Manipur, and his better half, Queen Laisna, was the president of the Pacha court. And as rightly stated by Preeti, when women all over the world were suppressed in all means, in every manner, our women were taking active roles in social, culture, or economical, or the judicial platform. Everywhere they were playing vital role. Also, when women were beheaded or given capital punishment, it was never heard of in Manipur society, which is of course a very big thing. And when the most admirable talents of women all around the world were tainted as witch, someone who is practicing witchcraft, our women were honored as MEIRA PAIBIS and were considered as a medium between God and humans. I personally believe, Amrita, that such support as a cultural norm and this ingrained valor and wisdom contributed immensely in the making of the indomitable spirit of our MEIRA PAIBIS. This is what I believe, Amrita.
Just picking up on what you said about speaking about in times of conflict, I'll be coming to Preeti that in our state, justice delivery system is very unsatisfactory. It's a fact. As a result of which, people start to resort to mob justice, even worse when it comes to in times of conflict like we are in currently. We are witnessing many organizations indulging in activities which borders on being termed as mob justice. What is your opinion regarding this?
Democracy means the majority rule.
Right.
In a mob justice, the will of the majority is imposed on one person. The only dissenting voice is that one person at the end of the rope. But mob justice cannot be a system of the state. If it becomes the system of a state, then it will be known as mobocracy. A state where mobocracy exists, it will always end in anarchy.
Right.
So the founding fathers has written many do's and don'ts, have cultivated many rules, and these accumulated do's and don'ts, they become the constitution, and that democracy becomes a republic. In a republic, it is the sacred duty of the state to protect the rights, the voice, the beliefs of the smallest minority. In case of Manipur, delayed delivery of justice or justice not delivered at all urged to the possibility of mob justice. See, our country's legislative system, it's very excellent. I believe it is very excellent. Everything is good on the paper, but they are not executed properly, or the judicial system is taking baby steps in this vast timeline.
Okay.
So sometimes the civilians try to take the matter at their own hands. And if this kind of things happen, then I believe that I will not be wrong to say that we are living in a mobocracy. But if the government governs the way they are supposed to, if the laws are executed properly, if we do our duties properly, then, and the judicial system, if it wakes up from its deep slumber, then I believe that such kind of actions as mob justice will cease to exist. That's what I would like to say.
Okay, the grievances of the people to be heard and justice to be meted out on time. It's what's the needed to in order to prevent mobocracy or such things happening in a society. So coming to Mr. Rinku again, there is one more topic that I would like to hear from you. That today I read a very disturbing news item that one of our ministers had a scuffle with some army personnel in civilian clothing. The issue was over a noted film actress of Manipur. It was very shameful, to be honest, and the conduct of both the minister and the actress are accountable to the public since they are all public figures. Besides, these kind of incidents are no more private affairs. The government will not act on this because of political considerations, for sure. But since incidents should not recur, as it's very shameful, do you think the MEIRA PAIBIS should take up this matter on their own hands and make some kind of diktat that it should not be repeated?
When it comes to the morals of a person,
right,
it is them that has to decide on whether what I'm doing is good or not. When it comes to if it is about somebody who is a layman, who doesn't have any position in the society, it is all right. There are many, for example, law enforcers, or the law courts, or any other authority or the higher up authority who is controlling, there are laws, and there are many rules and regulations. So when a responsible person acts like a civilian or a common man, then it talks about his position, his integrity in the society. And that too at a time when there has been, when Manipur is burning, and Manipur is crying for peace, and when everyone, 80% of the people are engaging in this conflict, and then almost all people, not only the Métis and Kukis, say other 35 communities, including the Tangkhul, the Mao, every one of us has been affected by this bloody conflict.
Yes.
And in this conflict, everyone is, their heads are rolling on to find out a way to end this conflict. Everyone is busy working out how to find a solution to this conflict. What are the root cause of this conflict? This has been, thinking, and this has been a topic in every table, everywhere across the state. The unfortunate part is that those who are supposed to take a lead role, those who are supposed to, be a model leader of the society, engaging in something that is, let me say, this kind of immoral activities.
Okay.
Why I'm telling it immoral activities is that there is a law in India, and most of the lawmaker, legislature, or many of the people are very serious about this, the issue of polygamy.
Yes.
How many, has the government of Manipur ever tried to find out how many government bureaucrats or how many government employees are having more than one wife? None. Even though there are rules, there are laws that prevent polygamy, it is still in practice, either in one way or another, or making some excuses or not.
Right.
This is another thing. The question you are asking me is that what do I feel when I heard the news about some responsible politician engaging in a tough fight with some person, over a girlfriend. That is what you are asking.
Yes.
I think. Okay.
Yes.
Who will be happy? I'm shocked hearing those news. I'm shocked, who are sending up those representatives to be our lawmaker. I don't know what kind of law they are going to make. I think next time they are going to put up something in assembly to allow each and every rich and the powerful person to marry more than 3-4 wives, I think. That is what I think. And then what will be the, what will be the society, what will be the, image of this society if such things come up? Very shocking, and I'm ashamed to tell the world, I'm ashamed to tell India that I'm in a state called Manipur, where our leaders or our representatives are taking importance on, blah blah blah, and making dating with girls at a time when Manipur is facing a crisis. I'm shocked and I'm ashamed.
Exactly that. To trust and elect a leader as our representatives require a lot more than just winning votes. A person needs to be in character and has to have their moral capacities in check. Since the time is coming to almost an end, and we had a very interesting session today regarding the topic that the spirit of the MEIRA PAIBIS that have been there since time immemorial, from our mythologies, even ranging from the Inupilan to the crisis in the 70s and the 90s, and that is continuing till now, that the MEIRA PAIBIS have been at the forefront at safeguarding the people of Manipur. And there is one quote that I would like to put out, that where the governance fails and where the governance and the rule of law does not reach, the MEIRA PAIBIS take up in their own hands to safeguard the people of the Manipur. With that, I would like to conclude today's episode. I would like to thank our panelists for tonight. I will to Ms. Kavita Hijam, thank you for coming to our debate for tonight. Thank you to Ms. Preeti for coming to ELITETV's open debate, and also to Rinku Khumukcham for coming to ELITETV's and giving your interesting insights. Thank you all again, once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would also like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. I would like to ask you to share your feedbacks and comments with us. We will be back again next Monday, same time, with more exciting topics. Please keep watching ELITETV. This is Amrita signing off. Have a good week.